Okay, anyway, so let's see what I'm drinking. Which one did you give me?
You can have the strawberry Rita.
Which one is this?
Oh, that one's the mango Rita.
Okay, so I have mango Rita.
And I had the Seagram's peach flavor.
Okay.
And now I'm drinking a lima Rita.
Today's podcast featuring the Rita family. They all wear dresses according to their flavors.
Yeah.
Rita,
and it tastes very good
don't you
too.
Wanna beat a Rita?
Anyway, so yeah, it's just like, I wish we had more people, but fucking everyone just flakes out as always. So
It's just the three musketeers, the three muskequeers. I approve this message.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure where that came from, but all right. So
The Three Musketeers.
yeah, but this happens every few months or so. Like I said, with I can't control how fucking when we record, and then like what happens is at the website, because we use Buzzsprout, you get a certain amount of hours per month, and even after uploading the last podcast, it says like you used to have like 4 hours remaining, and your session expires in like 6 hours, and blah blah. It resets on the 7th. So I'm like, hey, if we don't put something out tonight, then it's kind of wasted.
Yeah, you lose
footage.
all your time.
Yeah, I just.
So we're gonna have a 4-hour podcast.
No, but I mean, if we just do like a half hour, it's something. I just hate like having extra footage go over, but unfortunately, it's like I can't control the fact that we didn't get to record enough this month because life happens and people are working as always, and
excuse me,
part of being blue collar.
True that.
But I mean, I got some news stories. I was hoping to get like a lot more opinions on shit, especially from more females, because I'm not sure when people are listening to this, because now we're in July 5th, and it's funny how like a year ago I was just like a few months into this with Junior and Al. Now I have Lewis and Salena, so it's just funny how like a year later the same people you want here, but life happens. But like even looking back, like with COVID and stuff, we're seeing like more. I'm not sure how the rest of the country is doing, because we're in New York, and even being in Albany, some stores are enforcing it, some stores aren't. So some doctors, most doctors' offices are still enforcing it no matter what. But so I think fucking 4th of July as always. I'm probably gonna keep reading more and more about more reports of people drunk driving 4th of July, more fireworks killing people as always and shit, because that's what you get to expect out of this country.
Yeah, we had a peaceful 4th of July. We didn't see fireworks and stuff, but we, what did we even do? We watched TV, we drank, ate snacks, and just it was pretty nice. It was pretty peaceful. I slept through the fireworks and everything.
Yeah. So. Actually, let me pop this up. This happened, pulling up New York Post on Twitter. This just happened 15 minutes ago. Well, the article happened, but Long Island teen seriously injured after being struck in the face by a firework.
Oh, wow.
Damn, that's gotta fucking hurt.
That sucks.
Oh, shit.
Their face is probably messed up forever.
Let's pull this up and see. 13-year-olds, 13-year-old too. That sucks. So he struck in the face. He was with a group of teens who were setting off fireworks outside of a Deer Park home about 10:50 p.m. when a mortar exploded in his face. Damn. So he's just taken to the hospital with serious injuries. So investigators are trying to determine how the teen obtained the fireworks. Well,
right.
Gee.
And like, was it accidental, or did some asshole like throw it at him?
Yeah, they never tell you the details on that shit. So, yeah, it's just like I wanted to get more opinions, but also I don't want it to get too stale. What always, though, I'm sure it's as more time goes by, we're going to keep hearing more and more and more and more about it, because with the whole Bill Cosby thing, how fucking controversial it's going to be.
About what? About
now that Bill
the Jello Pop?
Yeah, about that good old Bill is out of prison now.
Yes.
Boy, I was hoping to get Big Al here for that, and like at least even like Elliot and I said like Susan from a female standpoint. Selena's got her opinions about it, but man, it's been like a fucking rough 4 or 5 days checking out the show Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I think it's fucked up and twisted.
Oh, yeah.
I like that YouTube
agree.
video you showed me, though, that explained like the law behind it and how he was able to get released.
Yeah.
It just shows you like how corrupt our judicial system is. It's kind of messed up. But the way the guy explained it, I forget his name. I think his name was Ben or something.
Yeah.
He at least explained why it happens. It still feels corrupt. He tries to normalize it like this is how justice is served. I'm like, really?
No,
is it justice?
the fuck? It's not.
Well,
My bad, bro. As it is, And it's funny you said what you said, Salena. You want to know how I found out that the system or the judicial system was crooked? That when I heard the saying by one of the lawyers or judges, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know how many people that were guilty got a slap on the wrist because of that judicial philosophy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like it's all about money too. Like there's a what do you call that saying that fines are technically for the poor.
Yeah, well, the video showed Salena was about 10 minutes long. It's from Ben Shapiro, and Ben, like anybody who's like mostly conservative, he gets controversial. But in this video that I watched with Salena, and I watched it a few times, he is breaking down the law, and it's like I'm not going to do the whole 10-minute segment myself because even with the law, the judicial system, it's more complex than even I can fucking comprehend. But what I got out of it is that, you know, basically, you know, we have fucking laws, we have stipulations, we have regulations for a reason and stuff. And the thing is, like, you know, and Ben even says in video, he goes, Bill Cosby didn't get released because he was innocent by any fucking means.
He admitted.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's like,
to it.
What happened is, like, the DA and as usual, the prosecution, everybody fucked up. I mean, we have a system, and I'm not sure, like, people who may hear this in other countries or even other states. I mean, because it seems like the law changes from state to state in this fucking country. But, like, there's so many legal loopholes that get people out of crimes, and there's so many legal loopholes that make people in prison for shit they shouldn't be for. But it's like, I took it as, like, you know, it's just funny how 10 years ago there's a civil case out there, and they basically say, well, listen, if you tell us what happened, admit to things, we won't charge things, we can't press charges against you. And that's what the agreement, that's the plea agreement. The plea agreement was admit to doing these things and we can't charge you, and it goes away. 10 years later, a new fucking DA, for whatever reason, wants to get Bill Cosby. No, the man's innocent, but he did sign papers, he did statements, he did sign documentation with the agreement saying that if I admit to doing this stuff, you can't hold it against me. And they held it against him, and that's how he got off on a technicality. And I personally don't understand how, I mean, as somebody who's been in fucking prison myself, because my thing was like, you know, hey guys, I did it, I had the fucking pot on me, I'm gonna do my time and go the fuck home. I don't understand, and I would need a specific lawyer or somebody to break down to me like how a man can write on a piece of paper, I admit to giving women drugs, I admit to wanting to have sex with women, I admit to wanting to fondle them while they're sleeping, but yet you can't charge it against me. So how the fuck can you admit to doing something and they still let you go? I don't understand the legality of that shit, which is basically what happens. But, you know, but as in Ben Shapiro, he basically fucking said, he goes, I think Bill Cosby should spend the rest of his life in jail, but it's like we have due process for reasons, and a system can be corrupt, it can be biased, but you should also, if you're a very high paid lawyer, by now you should know how to fucking play the system, how to work it against you and work it for you. So, but it came down to somebody fucked up, you know?
Yeah, they basically tricked him into confessing, and now it backfired.
Yeah, because it's
which is unfortunate.
And I think it's almost fucking like, you know, I thought about the Bill Cosby thing. Like most people, I think he's 100% fucking guilty. But with this whole fucking with the plea agreement, I would say that people that would defend him, and I try playing devil's advocate, I try seeing both sides. Like, what if, for argument's sake, what if the man was innocent? And this happens all the fucking time. It happens where it's like, you know, just for argument's sake, like later on we'll get into the whole Britney Spears thing, but like he said in a separate interview is that when it comes to rape and stuff and sexual molestation and shit like that, a lot of it is he said, she said. So I'm just going to throw myself out there saying, like, you know, for argument's sake, I'm dating Salena, and Salena says, hey, listen, Chris raped me. Now, of course, I'm going to say, no, I didn't fucking rape her. Now, and she's vehemently like saying, no, he did. Now it comes down to, how do you prove it? So oftentimes what I've seen is that guys get into the legal system, and it comes down to, we know, she said you did, you said you didn't, we can't fucking prove it. So then the guy's like, you know what, then I'm not admitting to this shit, I'm going to fucking trial and fighting this stuff. Now, if anybody, I don't know, said, besides my fucking prison time, but I've watched enough lawyer and TV shows and enough fucking movies, it always comes down to this. They come at you and say, hey, Chris, okay, well, the DA doesn't want to fight this because fighting a fucking trial, and it's a very long, drawn-out thing. You have judges, you have fucking, now you have to get grand jury and stuff, you have like evidence. It can take months and months, if not years. It's a very expensive, drawn-out fucking process. The DA, district attorney, is trying to get it in and out as fast as possible, save money, get a fucking win on their record, because it comes down to that. How many records, everybody goes to this, how many wins and losses do you have? So they're trying to get you out as fast as possible. So they'll come out and say, listen, Chris, the evidence is against you. We can't prove that, you fucking, she's saying you did it, and we have questionable evidence. But what they're going to do is they're going to come at you with 2 years. And you're thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to do 2 years and admit to raping Salena if I know I fucking didn't. Then they come back and say, well, she says you fucking did, and we want to give you 2 years. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get 2 years. So they'll come back and say, okay, well, if you want to fight this, we can't fight it. But then what we're going to do is we're going to get a fucking jury, mostly probably of women who are abuse victims or rape victims, mostly fucking get women or guys who had, they have a very specific way of playing the fucking jury system. If you fucking draw this out, instead of getting 2 years, we're going to slap on 20 fucking years. And you're telling yourself, well, Jesus Christ, now you're telling yourself, like, well, I don't want to admit to fucking raping my girlfriend, but also I don't want to do 20 fucking years for a crime I didn't do. So maybe I'll admit to raping her because I'd rather do 2 years versus 20, because then it comes down, and that's what this happens all the fucking time.
I mean, I don't think it happens nearly as much as actually being sexual assault, but it does happen.
Well, I'm saying the point of a plea, like my example was, Chris, here's the fucking charge, a class C felony, 2 years. If you want it, and I knew the fucking pot was on me. It was on my fucking person. It was in my car. The fucking public defender could fight illegal search and seizure, because the bottom line is, to go into your car, there is a fucking process. Oftentimes, if you have a very good high paid lawyer, they can beat the illegal search and seizure if they're good enough. Public defenders aren't fighting that hard for you, because they're getting fucking paid minimum wage. They're in, they're out. That's it, And they'll say, well, Chris, instead of getting 2 years, we can try fucking fighting the legal search and seizure, but the plea is, if you fight it and bring it to trial in court, you're guilty and stuff, but instead of 2 years, we'll slap you with 10. And I'm like, well, fuck, I just want to do 2 years and go the fuck home. I'm saying that's what the process is.
But there's also the backlash. That's where the saying comes in, just from what you mentioned. Be careful when a lie is being told, or just giving in to a lie, because that lie, especially when it's been presented to the wrong ears or the wrong people, it could change your life forever. Yeah. One of the examples was I forgot how many years ago it was, but it was this gentleman. He was on his way to graduating college. He had a scholarship to be in the I think it was the NFL, the whole nine, and a chick that I guess had a thing for him or crushing on him. He declined her advances. She went and told that he raped her, and he ended up doing, I think, like 5 to 7 years.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and then eventually she came out and said what really happened. He didn't do nothing. He didn't try to bring no type of harm to me, but the damage was already done. Right. He lost his scholarship.
Yeah, I would sue her especially if she admitted for lying. Like,
true, of character, but we also have learned how the system could be, and not to be gender biased, but a lot of what's supposed to be based on equality and civil equal rights, a lot of the judicial legislative system is leaned towards more women than it is towards men. And I hate to actually say that, because it does sound like I'm being misogynist, but there's a lot of proven patterns and statistics. Like one of the blatant examples, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Yeah, you noticed how the reason why it was getting algorithm and rotation on the tabloids is because those that know Johnny Depp was innocent and was doing their research and already knew Amber Heard was a piece of shit. Yeah, because you notice it was mostly like the overseas that was promoting the tabloids, and it was mostly trying to make Johnny Depp look like a certain way that wasn't him at all. It wasn't on any of the mainstream tabloids or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, that's how you could tell that a lot of the media tend to manipulate the influences amongst society. Yeah. And why a lot of people be panicking and stuff like that, because they are choosing an underhanded narrative instead of journalist integrity. Yeah.
Well, I just came back to the thing with Bill Cosby. From what little I do know, it's like, that's what I'm saying, playing devil's advocate, trying to fight for his side. In a situation like that, they would come back, I'm just assuming, and say like, well, you know what, we can't use his testimonies against him because he only admitted to these things because you told him if he did admit to this, then you wouldn't charge him. And so they would say, like, I'm gonna say what the lawyers are probably doing is like, we made an agreement that he never would have admitted to this if you didn't coerce him into. saying that
Right.
because that's basically the small gist of what like Ben Shapiro, anybody would say. It wasn't just Ben Shapiro. I've seen other people on fucking YouTube. Hey, said, listen, guys, whether we believe the man was innocent or fucking guilty, like you said, Lewis, it's like it comes down to not what you feel, it's what you can prove. And Ben Shapiro said the same thing. He goes, it's like, yes, the DA may have felt Bill Cosby was guilty. It may have had fucking 40 women's testimonies, but feeling you're guilty and proving you're guilty is two different things. And like they technically speaking, they really wanted to get this fucking man in prison. They wanted to press charges, and they did, and it worked for a time. But like it got over fucking turned because the legal system is very complex and oftentimes biased. But like the bottom line is, we can spend hours debating this shit. They fucked up. Yeah, as simple as that. They fucked up,
and it's unfortunate because I do believe that Bill Cosby is a very powerful predator. He got away with it for so long. And it was around 50 women that confessed or admitted. Or...
I mean, at least 40, but who knows? I mean, at least 40.
And I just need one of them to be true in order to fucking consider him a piece of shit. So.
Not even cut you off real quick, but like, okay, we said 40 women that came forward. Now, what if there was like 100 women, but the rest are too fucking scared? And that's
usually the case.
Yeah. So no, and I've been checking out Twitter. I texted Al about this. This guy I follow on YouTube called Jeremy does a quartering, and it was funny when Bill Cosby put out this on his Twitter feed, like, "Oh guys, this is a great day for me and stuff, and I always maintain my innocence and blah blah." And Jeremy put down, he retweeted Bill Cosby's official page and on his own Twitter page, and he made a YouTube video about it, and I'm gonna watch it later. But he's like, he showed the court documents. He goes, "Bill, you flat out admitted to fucking drugging these women." He's like, he's like, "Shut your fucking mouth about this." But it's situations like Salena said, because we talked about the Cosby Show back in the fucking 80s, and this is why Big Al got mad about this shit. Lewis Jr., Elliot, anybody.
Yeah, I loved the show when I was young.
Who didn't? I'd say Bill Cosby at one point. I'm going to look up actually the stats in a second, or if you want to, honey, look up the Cosby Show, the finale, the ratings. I know back when the Cosby Show was on from like 82, 6 years it was on, and then it came back and did a revival. But at one point, it was like the #1 show in the country. You had like 50 or 60 million fucking people watching the Cosby Show. The entire fucking country knew who Bill Cosby was. So I said, imagine back in the day, back in the, 85, 86, 87, wherever it was, and you fucking, these shows get shot during certain times. They have summer times off. They have downtime. Imagine being a fucking news reporter or something. Or imagine being like, an executive or somebody who works in industry. You go to fucking meet Bill Cosby, who's like the #1 fucking guy in America. You worship the guy, think he's fucking cool. And short fucking version, he winds up roofing you. You wake up and Bill Cosby fucking raped you. Now it's 1985, 1986. Who do you plan on telling about this shit? Come on. Did you plan on telling what? The cops? You think fuck the cops? Do you want to go to newspapers? You want to go to anybody? Tell anybody 1986 that the #1 America's dead. The cleanest, and Bill Cosby got his reputation. His whole fucking act was about the clean comic. Like, I listened to Bill Cosby's albums. The man didn't swear. He was promoting family values. He was telling young black men how to promote yourselves and do the right thing. The whole Cosby Show was to teach young black people in the 80s about, put down a gun, put down the drugs, go to school, stop blaming what he said it like 4 or 5 years ago. He's like, you know what? I'm a very successful man, very popular, comedian. Before his controversy came out, he said, him, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, people like that, we get tired of like a lot of you young kids blaming white people. I seen Bill Cosby say, stop blaming white people for your problems. He goes, how many people are successful because they're successful? It's like you're too busy blaming other people and playing the victim card. So yeah, but so take this into 1985, 1986. Bill Cosby fucking rapes you, and you're like, yeah, go ahead and say that shit. Who's gonna fucking believe you?
Yeah, they'll probably laugh at your face like, what?
There's
those. They probably think they just want attention, which is sad and scary.
The two types of people when it comes to being in a position of power: those who abuse it and those who embraces it on a more genuine route. And it's scary how many people that are in a position of power, like Bill Cosby, and abuse it. It's funny when the pandemic took place that the Hollywood industry got raided because of the hearsay about the numerous pedophilia, sex trafficking, and stuff like that.
Which I believe to an extent that exists. It's Hollywood's fucking crazy. Like I have no idea what it's like, but just like reading about it, it's just so many financial incentives, and it's pretty much like the game that I feel like all these rappers are and people are really talking about is just like the fame game or like the media game, like who can sell the most records, who can, lie to the masses enough to make the most money. And it's essentially selling sex.
It sounds like high school.
And yeah, I wanted to read the ratings for the Cosby Show because it is pretty interesting. It says the Nielsen
they're called the Nielsen ratings.
Show
that's what they would use.
That NBC came in first with an 18.2 rating average.
Yep.
It shows seen in an average of nearly 15.5 million homes, followed by CBS at a 17.0 rating, whose programs were seen in 14.4 million homes. ABC had an average primetime rating for the week of 16.6, or nearly 14.1 million homes. And then according to TV Guide, the show was TV's biggest hit in the 1980s and almost single-handedly revived the sitcom genre and NBC's ratings fortunes. TV Guide also ranked its 28th on their list of 50 greatest shows. In addition, Cliff Huxtable was named as the greatest television dad.
Yeah. Now, on something similar, honey, I'm pulling up, this was Business Insider. I typed in Cosby Show finale ratings, and this is from BusinessInsider.com. This is the 20 most watched TV show finales of all time. I'm going to skim it through real quick. I didn't know, because I'm sure you guys, before Selena's time, but like, you guys ever watch Alf?
Of course.
Isn't that the weird puppet thing?
Like
He's supposed to be like an alien.
It's called alien life form, Alf.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, but he would love eating cats, but like, but Alf though, he ended 1990, 21 million people watched just that episode of Alf. But not just because like it brought nostalgia to my heart. 20. I'm gonna scroll through it. Macgyver had 22 million people watching Macgyver back in back in 1992. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard of and seen Full House at some point. Full House had 25 million people were watching Full House in 1995. That's a lot of fucking people. The Golden Girls was even higher than. Damn, Golden Girls almost had 30 million people watching the Golden Girls.
Yeah,
I love the Golden Girls too.
And again, and this is why, back then, it ended 1992. 4 older white women, and it did everybody, the whole fucking country watched the Golden Girls. It's like it's back in the day when people just like television and shit. But I'm gonna keep scrolling through it. Star Trek's. Wow, damn! Everybody Loves Raymond. That fucking 33 million people watched that. The ending of Raymond. I mean, I like the show. I just didn't realize it was that fucking huge.
Yeah, I didn't really watch that show.
Here's Frasier.
I love Frasier. I like that show.
Classic.
33.7 million people watched the finale of Frasier, which ended in 2004 after 11 seasons. On the final episode, Frasier and Niles are run ragged trying to pull off their father's wedding in about 8 days.
He's getting married.
After Niles' son is born and his father moves out, Frasier realizes everyone is moving on to new chapters and decides he would like to do the same. Although he originally announced that he will be moving from Seattle for a new radio hosting job in San Francisco, the episode finds him getting off a plane in Chicago, where his ex-girlfriend Charlotte had moved. And, they're talking about Frasier. They're going to bring it back at some point, but...
I would love that. I don't think I watched all the I don't remember the season finale.
Well, at some point we'll catch up on it.
I do remember the dad falling in love with the mother from Drop Dead Fred. Yeah. I recognized her.
Number 6 of all time, The Cosby Show, NBC. 44.4 million people were watching The Cosby Show, and on April 30th of 1992, the series finale. So 44 fucking million people watching The Cosby Show, and imagine if Jesus Christ. While we're out here, I'll just keep going down the list. Friends, wow. Friends had 65 million people were watching Friends.
Holy cow.
Holy shit. I mean, I knew the show was big, but Jesus Christ. Of course, I knew this one, Seinfeld. Seinfeld had 76 million people were watching Seinfeld. Yeah,
I love Seinfeld as well.
It's this one show is. Number 2 was Cheers. 84 million people watched the fucking finale for Cheers.
I couldn't get into Cheers for some reason. I liked Frasier, so I tried to get into Cheers because that Frasier is like a...
But Jesus Christ, I mean, 1993, so I was 12, and that was I left 11 seasons, but Cheers. So the number 1 show of all time finale was, of course, MASH. MASH, it's like 105 million people watch fucking MASH, and 1983. So,
Never watched MASH.
Yeah, well, it ended 1983, so you had to watch a lot of reruns and shit. But MASH's biggest thing is because it was during the war and era and stuff. Americans had a different take on the military and shit. But it was like, back in the 80s, the biggest show at that point.
Propaganda sounds like.
Yeah, but that's it. That's what's scary is like, if you accuse, like, so right now, imagine like, whatever the current number one show is, because with streaming services, things keep changing. But just, take anybody. Like, imagine if like the three of us went to a comedy club and like, hey, what if Dave Chappelle popped up or something, and Selena's like, hey, Chris, fucking Dave, whatever, has three of us come to some backstage passes, and short fucking story, he wants a roofie and Selena and shit. And like let Selena go on social media and say, Dave Chappelle fucking drugged me and touched me and shit. And like, yeah, come on, And it's just like that premise. So, and this is what a lot of people have been saying about this whole Cosby situation is like, now this is why, because it happens all the fucking time that whenever you talk to people about rape victims and stuff and people or women that have been molested or things have happened to people, the number one fucking question 9 times out of 10 is, well, why didn't they come forward, or why didn't they come forward sooner? And this is a prime example of like, this is why they don't come forward for.
Exactly.
And the fact that, and it wasn't like Selena said, it wasn't just one woman, because and then you always read shit like, well, some of these women, they're trying to advance their careers. I'm like, none of these women were asking for a fucking payout. None of these women are like, you're famous. None of these women are in like mega blockbuster fucking movies or TV shows. These are women fucking from 25, 30, 10 years ago, all saying like, this man did this shit to us. We just want some justice. That's all we fucking want. But it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's one thing if one person accuses you of 2 people. When you got up to 40 fucking women, now there's a problem. Like this shit with James Franco. It's one thing if 1 woman, 2 women. James Franco's had like 20 women accuse him of shit. Like at some point you're like, well, maybe something could actually be going on. So
yeah, that makes me so disappointed too, because I really like James Franco. Yeah. I sometimes confuse him with Joseph Gordon-Levitt for some reason though. They kind of look alike.
But yeah, just like, so the scary thing looking forward is like, it's like Selena would fucking say, it's, it's power, it's fucking money, it's status, but like this happens, and this is to me fucking a whole, with our judicial system, this is a fucking 3 steps backwards.
And then what makes it even more like just annoying and stressful about the situation is like, I feel like he should be canceled, but because there's so much controversy around him, people will want to use that for money. Like they don't care about if Bill Cosby is a shitty person or not. They just care about all the attention being surrounded by him, and they want to capitalize on it. So, and that's putting them back in business.
And then you're also going to see people, and I've seen, of course, this is Twitter. You'll see somebody like Twitter has like Facebook facial profiles. Well, if this was a white guy, he would never got fucking arrested, and this is another way to hold the black man down. Oh yes, I'm sure his rape victims felt the exact same way. Like, but this is, I know Twitter's a fucking cesspool. But I do like when this happened, I was fucking following Bill Cosby's Twitter feed. Oh, trust me, he's got plenty of fans left.
Yeah. And I was looking at his reviews like just like 11 months ago, a few months ago. The Bill Cosby Show is still getting 5-star views.
But even his Twitter feed, like how many people like, oh my god, we're so happy and stuff. We always knew this, we always knew that, and we said this almost fucking since I started doing this podcast. That this is why I've always said I want my son to look up to people that matter, whether it's a doctor or a fucking nurse or lawyer. Like we so many times we're idolizing celebrities, where Bill Cosby is a prime example, that you could have 100% undeniable fucking proof that, I mean, there could be a video out there of him raping a fucking kid, and he'd still have people on Twitter saying, well, you know what, maybe the kid deserved it or some shit like that. It's like, but there would be some people that no matter what this man does, they're gonna fucking defend him tooth and nail, because he is Bill Cosby. And it could be him, it could be Michael Jordan, it could be Kevin Hart, it could be anybody, because certain celebrities, once they hit that step, because they start in a movie, or they fucking sing a song, or they fucking dribble the basketball, no matter what they do, and it's scary. It's like, say what Selena was saying about the tension. So this came out from the New York Post actually yesterday. So here's Bill Cosby. I'm making a documentary and I'm returning to the stage. Which I'm honestly shocked it took this long. Well, he's only been out for 2 days, so big deal. But I even made the joke saying on social media, I'm waiting for him to get he'll probably get a reality show. I guarantee he'll get a fucking reality show at some point. But the fact that he says, okay, Bill Cosby is going from the big house to the big screen. The disgraced comedian was sprung from State Correctional Institute in Phoenix in Montgomery County on Wednesday after his sexual assault conviction was dismissed because of a prosecutor's, remember keyword, decades-old agreement. Now, Cosby said he is working with Michelle Major on a documentary, reportedly to be produced by Lionsgate Entertainment, about his case. According to the former sitcom star, it's almost complete, and Cosby only needs to sit for his interview, which should occur in the next few weeks. And this is why I told Salena about this earlier. Here comes agendas, right? So this person that is called Michelle Major, a former producer of Good Morning America and executive producer on Vice's Media's Black Lives Matter, A Global Reckoning, is said to have attended Cosby's trial. So what they'll do is at some point they'll weave into Black Lives fucking matter. They'll say he's a fucking victim, and they'll make it to be like, he's a poor innocent fucking black man, how the system held him down, blah, blah. And again, it's just like they're going to find any way they can to twist it where it's like, well, he's probably an innocent guy and all these women were just fucking lying.
But he is already been proven. He admitted.
I mean, to me, even if like most of them are lying, I just need it to be one. If one of those out of those four, which I'm pretty sure at least one of them are true, I'd put my money on it. That's all I need. So yeah, I definitely believe that Bill Cosby is a powerful predator, and that's the whole reason why he's able to get away with it, how he's getting away with it today.
So,
and I don't know. I think he should just be fucking canceled. It's a public disgrace. Like, he is a shame to our country at this point. And I feel like his whole team and like anybody who's probably involved in the show and take pride in that show probably also wants Cosby to come back from it, because it's an extension of them as well, anybody who was on the show. So it's like, it's a very
let's
gray area when it
finish
comes to
this bullshit, which is funny. So Cosby claimed that he's on a mission to get the truth out and get people to understand that this is serious. It must be revealed what happened. He said he will work to support people who have been falsely accused in court and wrongly tried and convicted. We can't let up. We've got to mobilize. We've got to get the NAACP, what a shock there, and its Crisis Magazine involved, and black journalists, black men writers, black women writers. Funny part, he says he needs to get black journalists to help him out. That everyone must put their pen and paper and get the truth out. Okay, so.
Yeah, I just want to play on that idea. So let's say like he was like falsely accused and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, and it is true. I just feel like it's just not the way to go about it. And I feel like it's not compassionate enough for me. He's either like real. I just want to know if he is innocent, which I don't think he is. Then who the fuck did you piss off that's more powerful than you, that's able to orchestrate over 40 women to accuse you of rape, and is able to orchestrate like all these fucking tabloids and news stories around that? That's one thing, because it's either you pissed off someone more powerful than you, and that's the whole reason why this exists today, or you fucking did it.
Well, check this out. And this is the end part. This is the legality stuff, which is thanks for New York Post for this. But Cosby, who served more than 2 years on a 3 to 10 year sentence for felony aggravated indecent assault against Andrea Constant, was not released because the court found him to have been falsely accused. His release stems from a 2005 agreement made with Montgomery County District Attorney Bruce Castor Jr. that promised to shield Cosby from criminal charges on the matter in exchange for the comedian giving a deposition in his civil case against him. In 2017, days before the statute of limitations was set to expire, his successor, Kevin Steele, filed charges against Cosby. So, as for Cosby's return plans, one well-known celebrity crisis communication specialist told the Post that there's a slim chance for success. So,
just the fucking nerve of this man. I think his ego and his pride is so much at stake because of how much he was loved and how so much of the public like would listen to every word he would say and like go off on that. And then for him to get caught and to be completely disgraced, I feel like it probably fragmented his consciousness severely, because it's like super polarization. You go from literally the most loved person in America to the most hated.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of it has to do with pride and ego. Like, he wants to be loved again. He kind of like has Homelander vibes to me right now.
So like, and this is like, just again, like I'll just read some Twitter comments, because I just have to show you this is how fucking biased we are. Like, one person's like, yeah, and OJ is still looking for Nicole Killers right now, right? But then he got 50 likes. But here's someone right here, Lawrence. Bill Cosby should not have been charged in this racist farce in the first place. Example. There was zero evidence against him, except he justified. He never confessed or admitted to drugging women. Yes, he did actually. Several of the accusers were proven to be liars. Okay, several, but 40. And now Cosby's not guilty according to the law. See, people like him are why, he still has fans.
I hate it. Like, don't get me wrong, systematic racism is a thing. It still exists. But when it comes to a situation like this, you need to be objective as possible and respect human rights as possible. It doesn't matter if Bill Cosby is black or not. The fact that he raped and assaulted women, and it doesn't matter if they're black or not. And I hate that he's trying to play the black card and try to get basically the Black Lives Matter movement behind him because he's trying to get, all black journalists and stuff like, which is a good thing, but it's for bad reasons.
That's the point. Well, it's like with Amber, Amber Turd. When Amber Turd was talking about, she wanted to get these women's rights and the Me Too and me
Calls
that.
her Amber Turd. Well, I don't know if you did that on purpose. No,
after she shit in Johnny Depp's bed, because that was even funny too with that judge, where it's like they show him pictures of like Johnny Depp wakes up, he looks over, and there's shit in his bed, and she said it was the dog, and he took pictures, showed it to the judge, and judge was like, even the one judge says like, this is not canine fecal matter. If LaRue takes a shit and you take a shit, honey, I'm pretty sure I can know the difference between. Yeah. So and then she said, well, first she goes, well, it was me as a dog. Then she goes, well, it probably was one of my friends. Get your fucking story correct, lady. But then she goes, well, and then her third story came out was, well, I think it was one of my friends. We just did it as a prank. So your husband at the time, you had one of your friends, so like tonight, if you want to go to bed, I'm going to have Lewis real quick, hop into bed with you, take a shit next to you and say, honey, I was just joking, like.
Oh my God. And then I'll wake up with pink eye. I'm suing.
Yeah. But, no, same thing. She was fucking playing on the whole Me Too movement and women's advocacy and women's fucking rights and women's victims. And it's all bullshit because like it's been caught where like her divorce settlement between her and Johnny Depp was $8 million. I'm going to give the entire fucking thing to all these different women, these women's groups.
And she never did.
And it came out like a year later, say, hey, and they were putting out all these fucking posts like, hey, Amber, it's been a year since you promised us this money. We haven't got a single penny that you said you're going to fucking give to women's fucking charities and stuff too. Oh, I'm working on it. Oh, a year you couldn't.
How are you working on it? You have the money already. It just sucks because it's people like that ruins the actual victims.
Exactly.
And like the people that really do need help. And in the beginning, because I didn't know the extent of the situation, at the end of the day, I feel like this is getting blown out of proportion. They obviously had a horrible, traumatizing breakup on both ends.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through that all the time. People's worst moments and stuff and like lowest moments are usually during that time. I'm not going to take cheap shots on their lowest like points in life because if anybody was in I wouldn't know how I would react. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I feel like they both do deserve to work to an extent because at this point, it's just getting so blown out of the proportions to the point where it's not even in their own hands anymore. And it never was. It really honestly never was once Amber Heard threw Johnny Depp under the bus over false accusations.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I believe they both deserve work. I honestly just want it to all be over with because when people who love Marvel, they don't care about Johnny Depp. And people who tend to love Johnny Depp don't care about Marvel. So it's definitely a polarized like fan base as well, fighting each other. It's Johnny Depp fans basically versus Marvel fans because they don't want to see a change in character.
It's DC, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's DC, not Marvel?
I know,
sorry, I'm confused. Of course you would know. You're the comic guy.
I'm just going to be funny, but yeah, no, it was DC.
And DC fans is to correct myself.
No, you're right, though. Actually,
but also, speaking of the Me Too movement and stuff, I believe the world owes Megan Fox an apology because she got a lot of hate and a lot of abuse just for being a beautiful woman in Hollywood and faced a lot of sexism. And the whole reason why she was fired from Transformers is I guess she equated the director of Transformers to Hitler.
What happened is Michael Bay, who directed actually all 5 Transformers films. Now, Michael Bay, like anybody, he's been hurt. I've heard through different interviews that he's fun, he's nice, but sometimes during certain scenes, he can be a pain in the ass, like most directors. And she was saying, and to her credit, I did see the interview, she was talking with Shia LaBeouf. And I've heard Shia say off camera, it's like sometimes Michael could be an asshole, he can be a dickhead, but we love him because they keep coming back and doing his movies. In fact, later on, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff, Michael Bay produced that. He got her into Ninja Turtles as being April O'Neil. So, but anyway, during an interview, someone was saying, like, Michael Bay's a director. Sometimes how can he work for him? She's always, sometimes he's very hard. He can be just like Hitler. And she said it as a fucking joke.
Yeah.
The thing is, DreamWorks Entertainment did all the Transformers film, and DreamWorks is heads up, and executive producer was Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is the fucking Jewiest Jew in the top. Everyone knows Steven fucking Spielberg. He's massively fucking Jewish. The second he heard that Megan Fox was calling the director of Transformers Hitler, he's just like, yo, you're gone. And the thing is, and as people understand this a lot of times with Hollywood, which I spend too much time reading this shit, a director is hired. A director is an employee. Mm-hmm. Actors are employee. The real people are executive producers, because when a movie costs $200 million to fucking make, someone's got to pay for this shit. So Steven Spielberg does, or George Lucas, or anybody, but like, this is your investors. When a movie costs $100 million to make that, you need people who got this kind of money to say, listen, I'm going to dump 50 million, 60 million, whatever, and they get a fucking big revenue back of the box office. So yeah, so it wasn't, Michael Bay didn't fucking fire her. Steven Spielberg fired her. But then let's say later on though, when Michael Bay fucking produced Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, he brought her back as April O'Neil because he actually does like her. And I did read her quote and stuff too. She was joking around, but like, Hollywood, you say the wrong fucking thing, you're gone.
Not to Spielberg, Megan. Not to Spielberg.
Honestly, yeah. And that's how it is, though.
No, but I felt really bad for her because, I mean, I was really young when Jennifer's Body came out.
Yeah.
And I was also, very body conscious. So I feel like I subconsciously avoided it to not confront my own insecurities about myself, because she is vastly beautiful. Mm. But I had friends who loved her and stuff. And she faced a lot of like criticism, like from verbal abuse to physical abuse, even just because she was basically a succubus in that movie. And
what movie?
Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I just felt really bad for her, because not even women, she said, would even stick up for her.
Yeah,
because probably because they were intimidated, but
yeah, well, that's that industry. When we talk about it all the time, like how a lot of people want to be a movie star, a lot of people want to get that kind of fame and fortune and money, but there's also a lot of deep, dark, grimy shit that goes on with that stuff, and she's a prime example.
Yeah, she said it wasn't until after the Me Too movement until people really started taking it into account what she said and really started taking her seriously.
If you want,
because before that, we were just basically like, she deserves it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people feel that way, because and that's also the problem now. Social media getting out there, it's like it's people are seeing more into the lives of what these people go through, and they're seeing a lot more of like people just say, oh, maybe she just deserved it, but they wouldn't. Like me, I would look into it more like okay, what did she actually fucking say? How did she actually say it? She wasn't just saying like, I hate Jews or something, or fucking I praise Hitler. She just said it in a jokingly way that sometimes working for Michael Bay, he can be like fucking Hitler. And she goes, and just because he can be a hard ass sometimes as director. Jamie Foxx said Quentin, like, for Django Unchained, Quentin can be sometimes a pain in the ass to work with, but he goes, he overall thanked Quentin for putting him in Django Unchained because the whole fucking planet watched Django. And he goes, Quentin can be sometimes a pain in the ass, but he goes, there's also a reason why Quentin is so fucking well liked and well known, and he is anal about his movies, but then look at the quality of his movies.
Right.
But even Jamie said, I listened to him on different interviews. He goes, I had a certain arrogance. I'm Jamie Foxx. I've won fucking Oscars. I did Ray. It's like I had a chip on my shoulder, and Quentin had to sit me down and put me in fucking check. I'm like, no, dude, this is how things are going to be. And they made a fantastic movie. So it does go both ways. But on like what you were saying, Salena, on a side note, was like talking about with fucking Bill Cosby gloating and stuff. I told you about this. I had to pull this up because this pissed off Howard Stern and a lot of people. But I'm not sure if Lewis ever heard about that. Fuck, when OJ, when he got fucking acquitted and stuff and he went free, he wound up writing a book. And the fucking book, and everyone was so pissed off. But sorry, the book came out in 2007, and the book is literally called If I Did It. If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. And it's like, this book is, which O.J. Simpson puts forth a hypothetical description of the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. He made a book saying, if I did kill them, this is how I would have did it.
That is fucking twisted.
Yes, it is. And
that is like a bad idea.
And I'm reading right here.
He is mentally deranged and does not deserve the amount of money he has, in my opinion.
Like, how many copies did it sell?
He needs a conservator. Sorry.
No, but that was just like saying, it's like, you flat out, and the whole fucking planet like knew that, what you did was fucked up and you got away with it. And just to rub that much salt in a wound, you make a book about it, like just basically bragging that you fucking killed your ex-wife and her boyfriend. And it says, how many copies did it sell? The book, which was wrested away from Simpson by the family of Ron Goldman in a bankruptcy court proceeding, well, at least that was good for that, but it published last month, it sold 68,000 copies. The fact that almost 70,000 copies of a book about OJ admitting to killing his ex-wife, like, Jesus Christ, man. So, wow. It says, why did Simpson write If I Did It? If I Did is a book by O.J. Simpson, yep, so... he just did it because he could. Does OJ confess in his book? He did the interview as he was getting set to release a book in 2006 called If I Did It. So they were shocked. They were shocked that he was releasing the book because if he did do it, then he's confessing to a crime, and if he didn't do it, then he's writing a book about hypothetically killing his ex-wife. So, Jesus Christ, yeah. So, what's like fucking Cosby and stuff? Instead of Cosby just shutting the fuck up and just going away, now Cosby's on a fucking crusade. And what's funny is like, you know, he wasn't on this fucking crusade when they were arresting him and putting him in fucking court and jail and everything, and nothing, his fucking fans and lawyers and his wife, and nothing was happening to fucking Cosby until he got out. Where was this massive crusade of his innocence while he was fucking going through this shit? And why was it when he was in fucking prison the past years? Where was all this shit then? Why wasn't he fucking writing these letters and releasing statements and stuff? You haven't heard a fucking peep from this man for the past 2 years. Now that he's fucking out, now it's like, oh yeah, I'm on this whole new fucking, like, you know, Cosby resurgence and shit. Like, dude, something. It wouldn't surprise me somebody fucking shoots him or some shit. Or like, I mean, I just like, man. I do read some Twitter comments. People are like, you know, this is why you wonder why oftentimes vigilantism comes into effect, because I can tell you right now, somebody fucking, I don't give a shit if it was Bill Cosby or fucking, you know, LeBron James or something, or for Johnny Depp, somebody fucking roofies one of my sisters, and I find out you got released on that shit. Don't worry, man. It's like, that's a time when fucking some shit. Well, you know, karma's a bitch, and sometimes you got to help karma out. And yeah, let somebody, especially if I had a daughter or something, I don't give a fuck, man. Just go ahead and fuck.
I just feel like the amount of influence he has in Hollywood and just in, you know, the famous people world is the reason why he's able to get away with what he's getting away with. And yeah, that's what sucks. They're all like looking out for just pedophiles looking out for other pedophiles. That's all.
It's been said that for many years that when it came to the entertainment industry, that it was ran by a pedophile ring.
I believe in the Shirley Temple, because I like Shirley Temple, and stuff like growing up, even though I'm not that old, but my godmother really loved Shirley Temple, so I was able to watch her through my godmother. But yeah, I was like Googling her the other day, and I guess one of her first movies was like a baby movie where they would have babies like 3-4 years old, 3 or 4 year olds reenact like actual adult movies at that time.
Wow.
And they would just basically have the babies dress up like little mini adults and, you know, do little kisses and do little scenes. There's even one where she's like a dancer and stuff. It's very weird and very awkward. It's definitely not cute. It's borderline pedophilic, like softcore porn. And it just has a lot of like weird innuendos with like Shirley Temple's dance scenes, or how she's like by the guy's crotch and he puts her hand on her head while he's dancing with her. How there's scenes where she's sitting on the man's lap and playing with his tie and his hair, like it's kind of flirting. No child would ever do that. And but yeah, that's like one of the earliest signs of exploitation.
Yeah,
I agree.
Also called grooming as well.
So, but I mean, shit, we killed almost an hour on that, and it's like, I'm sure at this point, because we've talked about him a lot, and like, I wish Big Al was here. I'm sure Al, whenever he does come over, Al will give his 2 cents. But he did write me on the Xbox app. He goes, "Yeah, I'm so pissed off about this rapist piece of shit." And but no, this is like this is fucking, to me, just the beginning, because this is not the last time we're hearing about Cosby by any fucking means.
I mean, I hope something happens where he just gets fucking canceled. Like, this just can't be life. Like, it's basically, I feel like mass consciousness condones it. For it to like be the way it is, and for him to just walk free and not only have a documentary, but like fucking support. Yep, it's deranged.
He's getting documentary, book deal, and I'm just give it time for fucking, there's a reality show. It's like, I'm waiting for it. It would not shock me at this fucking point.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, They're like, he'll post some OJ shit like, well, I didn't rape these women, but if I did, it's like
I'd do it this way.
So, but I pulled up this article because like sometimes this is sweet and sad at the same time. But I found this. I just share it to myself, and I want to share it with you guys and anybody listening because this is heartbreaking, but also hey, it depends how you take this. But a terminally ill groom, he dies at the altar as his bride was walking down the aisle. Now, there's two ways to take that. It's like it sucks that he died waiting.
That upsets me so much.
So, well, he was sitting in a chair. Paul Wynn was sitting in a chair waiting for his beloved partner of 21 years, Alison Wynn, to greet him at their nuptials in a town hall at Scotland. So, a groom with terminal cancer died at the altar as his bride was walking down to meet him. So he was 57 years old, a dad of 11, was sitting in the chair and. Forward. Before the ceremony, he said, the wife said, sorry, everything seemed to be okay, although Paul seemed to be a little bit uncomfortable by this point, and his kilt had been loosened a wee bit to help him feel more comfortable. By the time I got to him, I called his name a couple times. She said he didn't turn around. He didn't look at me, and I realized there was something wrong. And I started breaking down. I started shouting his name, and we knew something wasn't right. So doctors had told the groom he had cancer in May, but only diagnosed it as terminal a little more than a week ago. And this just happened a couple days ago.
That's so heartbreaking. I'm so triggered because I'm such a hopeless romantic. And like just to have that happen is so sad. I mean, it's definitely a way to go out.
Yeah.
But...
It says him and his beau rushed to tie the knot before he passed away, and they managed to hastily organize a wedding in the town of Saltcoats. Doctors told him that he had up to 2 months to live. The first responders were unable to revive him at the wedding. I'm having to get up and moving every day for the sake of my children, but I can't eat, said the heartbroken bride, who has 5 children with him. Well, she had 5 children, so they had 5 kids together. So at least that's, that's good in a sense, Paul and I lost a child in 2004 after I had a miscarriage. So it gives me a bit of comfort that he's up there with our child. His mother passed away in 2020, at least he's with her too. We were his life. He would do anything for his kids, adding that her partner had been a freelance photographer. He would move heaven and earth for his kids, and everyone loved him. So, yes, no doubt, it's heartbreaking, but, it's like, it's like...
I'd be traumatized. I feel for the wife. I could never move on. Like, it's my wedding, like...
I mean, he did get
so bad.
She didn't make it to the altar, but he did get to see her in a wedding dress, and so I'm just trying to say, like, at least it's like... That was a sweet way. I mean, if they did, it would have been better if they got to actually pronounce you man and wife, but, it's like... we figure they were technically together. I mean, who knows why they didn't get married, but they were together for 20 years. They had 5 kids, so at least they had a good life, I would say. It's tragic, but, it's
sad. Gotta take better care of yourself, you guys. You don't want to die at your own wedding.
Fucking cancer, man.
Yeah.
So.
Are we going to talk about Britney Spears?
Before I do that, I'll pull up this one because I
love her.
What's going on with her?
That's going to be another half hour itself. I'll pull one more for Sonny gets on that because this because I found because Lewis. Well, both you guys will like this because I as somebody who's been in prison, when I read stories like this, I laugh and I wish hopefully one day Matt can hear this for somebody. So why is my phone so slow? Hold on a second. Basically, it's saying that a female correction officer was having sex with inmates.
Damn.
So, let's see. Corrections officer jailed after having sex with an inmate in front of 11 other inmates. Okay, well.
What makes you think you're gonna get away with that? I know them niggas was waiting to snitch on your ass.
Look, and look, there's a picture of her.
Oh, she's beautiful.
So the thing is, Lewis, his picture, and it's like you would at least understand if like she was a beastly looking, maybe she just was hard for her dick or something, but. You see women like that, and you're like, I'm not a hot chick by any means. I'm just wondering, like, why would you, on top of losing your fucking job and your pension, now you're doing jail time. Like, is it that hard to find a man outside of prison? Like,
maybe she had a criminal fetish. I don't know. Maybe that was her whole reason for getting the job. How long did she work there?
Well, so okay, a female California corrections officer with a depraved mind has been jailed for having sex with an inmate in front of 11 other jailbirds. She's 26. She even cut a hole in her uniform pants to make it easier to have sex in Fresco County Jail. Her sentencing was on Tuesday. Her former boss, Assistant Sheriff Steve McComas, told the court that he had witnessed many pretty disgusting things during his 26 years in the job, but nothing as shocking as hearing of her sex session in full view of other inmates.
Yeah,
Wow.
that sucks. I feel like they were just jealous because it wasn't them that were chosen. So like, nah, you ain't getting no free pussy
So it
on
says
my
that
watch.
she was, well, it says she quit. Wait, hold on. Gonzalez, who quit after being arrested in May last year, also supplies the same inmate with razors, a cell phone, and advance warnings when his cell was going to be searched, the report said. Wow.
And a happy ending.
She took an oath which she betrayed, and in doing so endangered her co-workers.
Right.
But she has shown no remorse. She continuously calls and has sexually explicit conversations with the inmate in question and boasts about the crimes she carried out.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
So,
what is wrong with her?
She,
She's a freak.
She pleaded to no contest in April to sexual activity by a detention facility, employed with a consenting inmate, as well as possessing drugs or alcohol and a cell phone to give an inmate, the outlet said. They're going to nail her. So
She may like that.
What is wrong with people?
They called for her to get the maximum sentence of 3 years and 8 months in prison. I mean, that's not really a lot, though.
She's like, can I bunk with him?
But the judge noted her early plea and lack of criminal history as he sentenced her Tuesday to 7 months in county jail, followed by 2 years probation. That's insane. Hold up.
Yeah, it's
like she was
kind of a long time because you got late at work, but
well, I'm just saying,
I understand.
But consider, but no, she got a 7 month sentence in county jail, and she'll do fucking 4 months with good time. Considering you were giving an inmate razors, a cell phone, and having sex with him, the judge gave her 7 months. That's fucking insane.
You don't think that's like justice? You think she should be put away for longer?
I mean, it's like I said, with good time, she'll do 4 months. And but considering like you're a CO, okay? You were caught at your job for fucking an inmate. Also, you're bringing inmate contraband inside fucking jail. I think you should get more than goddamn 4 or 5 months.
Imagine if the news was a dude dicking down female inmates.
That's so.
That's crazy.
Here's your cigarettes and tampons.
I feel like maybe, I don't know the history, but it's either you're really, really stupid or the guy was really, really hot and you gave in to lust, or like you known this person before you started working there. I don't know. I think it's weird.
The possibilities are endless.
That's really weird. Maybe it was her soulmate. Love at first sight.
Yeah. I mean, I just like, goddamn.
Love at first yard call.
But on top of like, that's always going to be like, she obviously was a CEO with some kind of career. So any kind of future job you plan on getting, that's going to be on your, I like to see your resume now.
She brings the term the longest yard a whole new meaning.
I wonder how she got caught. I think one of the other inmates snitched.
Yeah, I've been in fucking jail. I'll tell you right now. First off, if you're fucking a guy in front of 11 other people and you're not fucking them, jealousy, hell yeah. And plus, listen, we see in pictures, she's not ugly by any fucking means. And if you're a guy who's been locked up for X amount of time and you haven't got pussy in like a year, 2, 3 fucking years, and some guy is fucking hot chick in front of you, of course you're gonna fucking rat him out. Come on, it's like that just.
You would do that too, Chris?
I wouldn't because I'd be scared of fuck repercussions. But like, plus I wouldn't care. But I mean, I'm not gonna watch neither. Like, it's just that's not me. Like, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not big into watching a guy fucking girl in front, especially when there's 10 other guys and everyone's probably.
Oh my god!
They're probably a fucking
so
big,
weird. She's freak of the week.
They're probably,
man.
probably a fucking jerk
Freak
fest
of the
too.
week.
Because I mean, especially it's in county jail or something. If she did it in front of fucking 10, 11 other guys, they're fucking few more jerking off watching it because they haven't in county jail. There's no porn. Like in prison you do get actually you can't even fucking technically speaking. Pornography in prison is considered contraband. So like guys sneak some stuff in, but there's no fucking there's no.
What if you draw it? Can you draw it? Is that still contraband?
If the CO wanted to be a dick, technically yes. I mean, like I said, sometimes you can find fucking porns or naked fucking pictures or something if the CO's kind of cool about that. But overall, they do not want any fucking pornography, period, because they don't want guys jerking off and shit. Like it's so. Goddamn.
So they want all that testosterone and aggression just build up.
Well, like I told Salena.
Interesting.
I told Salena and I talked to other guys about this, that like, say what you want about dietary and stuff and supplements, but like my friend Matt would attest to this, that creatine, at least in New York State, they stopped giving creatine out to inmates because they didn't want guys getting too big. You could buy whey protein powder, expensive as fuck. But like our fucking diet still, like my friend Big Dave would say, where I wish I could, if I ever get Matt down here sometimes, I could tell stories about fucking Big Dave all day, but Big Dave was a big fucking, 6'6", 310-pound Indian and shit. And Dave would say, like, Chris, our diet, like, they would give us like hamburgers on every like once a month or something. You bite into these hamburgers, they were soy burgers. I know beef and meat. You bite into this shit, it's like you can tell it's soy. The hot dogs were soy hot dogs. They're trying to give us as little protein as possible because they don't want fucking massive, big, jacked fucking dudes.
And some of them being flight risk and having the ability to overpower the officers. Correction.
So it's like, that's why I said when I came home, I was fucking 170 pounds. I would look like I was malnourished. Most of our diet was bread and fucking butter and but actual meat though and protein. The only protein you would get is if you buy a jar of peanut butter and suck down a whole jar of peanut butter. But in terms of dietary though, no. I mean, that's why most guys in jail in different states probably you can get packages and stuff and protein powders. But in other states actually do allow creatine. But at least when I was at, no fucking protein. I mean, you're lucky if you get one meal every 2 or 3 days that might have a little bit of fucking protein and shit. So
right.
It's like they don't want fucking dudes getting that big. So. But it's like you said, on top of, so when you have less protein, you also have less testosterone, which is fucking proven. And less testosterone means you don't want to jerk off as much. You're not as sexually aggressive and shit. That's medical fucking fact. So, yeah. So we did an hour. I mean, Salena, this obviously fucking hits her pretty close to home. I'll have Lewis, you can comment and I will, but I'll let her break it down. Okay. I'm curious. I followed some of it, not as extensively as her, because I just I got so much going on.
Well, I watched the documentary. We're talking about Britney Spears now, right?
Yeah, so I figured, well, I'll let you start off, but I don't know what to feel or how to feel about the whole Britney Spears conservatorship. It's fucking, it's hot topic right now.
I'm just gonna give my personal take on it because that's just how it's gonna be. But because I watched Britney Spears documentaries before the Free Britney movement documentary came out, and I already felt iffy and wishy-washy about her family, and more so her father too at that time, because just watching the documentary, they tell you that ever since Britney was really young, her family tried to make her famous. Her family would spend, money. Sometimes they couldn't afford it and stuff, and they would have to go off of their what do you call their agents' dime too sometimes to help travel so Britney can get the kind of exposure that she needed in order to be successful. And so her family had a lot of investment and goals themselves for Britney at a very young age. So by the time she's older and turns 18, all these millions of dollars she made throughout her life, her young life, went from not being her parents to her money at 18. I think, coming from the father's perspective, he invested so much of his life into her, and he invested so much of his time and his energy and his money into her life and to her success. I felt like he genuinely believed that he had rights to her money and that he is the reason why she is the way she is today, which that may be the case, but it is ultimately her that they're selling and making money off of. And I do believe they exploited her a lot, her and Christina Aguilera. They basically turned them into sex symbols. But yeah, I definitely believe her father is greedy and a little corrupt, and to an extent, I understand why he may think that way, because I feel like he believes he's the one that worked just as hard, if not more hard, to get Britney into the position she is today. So that's kind of why I feel like is the reason behind the conservatorship, is that the parents, the father especially, feels like they do have rights to it, because Britney wouldn't be where she was today if it wasn't for her parents putting so much effort into making her famous. But at that point, once you turn 18, you're your own person, and at that point, it wasn't like her parents paying for everything. It was Britney paying for everything once she turned 18. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I definitely believe her conservatorship wasn't logical. I think it was just a way for her parents to monopolize on her wealth because they feel like they do have rights to it. I mean, I disagree with it, but I understand why they may feel that way.
Any thoughts, Lewis?
Not a single word.
Like, I never really listened to Britney Spears.
Oops, I did it again.
I mean, when me and her, like I said, we watched another Ben Shapiro video on that, and he was breaking down the whole legality of it. And I mean, it's like he did break up. I mean, I thought, like we say, try to at least be objective and stuff, and look at, you know, the pros and cons, both sides of the coin. And so I understand where she's coming from. And Ben, you know, he did say that, you know, she was a young girl that was overly sexualized at 16 years old, you know,
for money,
and her parents did, you know, walk out on her and stuff. But then later on, and I did agree with that point that I'm sure California's family court laws aren't much different than New York, but like he did make a valid point that's saying at one point she did lose custody. Like it was more of like either 70-30 or 80-20, but like she lost sole custody of her children to like Kevin Federline. And anybody in the past 10, 15 fucking years ever heard the name Kevin Federline, the guy's a massive piece of shit. So even for like someone for Kevin Federline, for him to get custody of her kids, that means, you know, that's a lot of, you know, what was going on and shit. Because
isn't that who she cheated on Justin Timberlake with?
I don't know, but that whole situation, I feel, because Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears are childhood friends. They knew each other in the Mickey Mouse Club, which isn't really talked about and was never mentioned in the Britney Spears Free Britney documentary, I noticed, which kind of upset me because they made it seem like Justin and Britney's they were just very vague on their interpretation of Britney and Justin's relationship when they were essentially childhood friends. They've known each other since they were like, 6 or 8 years old. And then as they get older, they're dating. That could all just be a publicity stunt. They know each other since they were kids. They're most famous teens out there. That could have all been a facade. And him, you know, her losing her virginity to him, that could all just have been a way to just become more popular. And I did listen to a bit of Justin admitting that Britney lost her virginity to him, and the way it was very coerced. Like the guys were around him. Did you, Justin? Did you do it? Come on, Justin. How was it? And then Justin said like a quick thing. All right. And then they just moved on. And that became like in every fucking magazine because Justin was like, all right, I guess I'll, you know, tell you guys what you want to hear. So who really knows the truth at that point?
Right.
But yeah, that kind of upset me. And what were you talking about? You were talking about her losing custody to her kids, right?
Yeah, because like the part like Ben was saying was that to talk more about the conservatorship and like her mental state, that it's courts, whether it's New York or LA, and I'm not sure the rest of the country, but firsthand what I've seen, courts 99.9% always favor the fucking mother. So if she lost custody to fucking K-Fed there, some stuff had to be going on that was pretty severe of her mental state, you know, which I would agree with that.
I think she was overwhelmed.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say right quick, I think it was because she was overwhelmed with the publicity, cameras following her just about everywhere.
Yeah, that too. In the
people being in her privacy, you know,
definitely
things like that.
Because in the documentary, from what I've read, because I was young when she had kids, so I'd never really paid attention to that. But she was like criticized severely for having her child, like her 3-year-old or 2-year-old, I forget how he was, but he was still a toddler, sitting on her lap. And all they did was show pictures of the child sitting on her lap while she was driving in the driver's seat. And now all of a sudden she's a bad mother. And then she explains it. The reason why she did that is because she was getting severely harassed by paparazzi. And she didn't feel comfortable leaving the child by himself in the booster seat behind her when there's paparazzi banging on the window trying to take a picture of him. She wanted to be there for her child, and she felt like that was the only way to make him feel safe because she didn't want to scare him, which is completely understandable. I feel like if you're being harassed that much, like your behavior shouldn't be compared to the average citizen. And Ben Shapiro, I really liked Ben Shapiro's video to an extent because he did explain conservatorship. It's a very serious thing. It's very hard to attain.
Absolutely.
But I also like the YouTube comments as well because it wasn't a rational and it wasn't a logical interpretation of Britney's situation to me when Ben Shapiro explained it. But he did explain all the law behind it. He explained the law behind it and how you can attain it, how you can get it. And because he states it's such a very serious, such a serious whatever claim to do to a person to become a conservator, is why he feels like it's justified, because of the lengths and how hard it is to become a conservator, is why he believes it's justified. But he also admits that her father exploited her at a 16-year-old and, you know, was a poor father in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
But yet he contradicts himself in saying that her father being her conservator is still justified because of her mental issues, which probably was caused by her father in the first place. So I really like the YouTube comments under that because it put my mind at ease. I'm like, people cannot really think like this. But Ben Shapiro explains the law pretty well. And it was very informative.
Well, because he was explaining that stuff, but the, you know, again, looking to counter at that, the whole conservatorship, like he was saying, like first off, to get a conservatorship, it does not, like, if mom just tried to put in for petition for conservatorship of me, it's not like, you know, it's like, it would have to take a lot of actual, like, documents, evidence, and also fucking, it would take like a lot of therapists and stuff, lawyers. I mean, it's not just like you walk in like, hey, I want conservatorship of my son. Like there's a very lengthy process. And like he was trying to say, like, it's not handed out lightly. Like there's a reason that, and like, but part of what he was saying is like the court documents, none of us as the public, none of her fans who read her Instagram posts or her Twitter posts or anything, we don't have access to this information. Obviously the courts would have access to her doctor's notes or therapist fucking notes, information that we don't friggin' see. But so I feel like the point he was trying to make is that if her parents, despite whatever wrongs her parents did to her back in the 90s, early 2000s, despite them being shitty parents, number one, even it's like my mother in my life when I was 15 and 25 wasn't the best mom. I'll tell mom to this day, it wasn't the best fucking mother, but she's still my mother, and she still would have legal access to me and my person, especially if I was worth tens of millions of fucking dollars, that somebody like, say, like you or Salena would have, because she still is my biological fucking mother. So that part I fucking do get. And part of what he was saying as well is, and again, none of us know what her mental state is, but there was a time where she was suicidal. You know, she was suicidal. She was disappearing for months at a time. She was like, you know, doing like, get into like legal troubles and stuff. And at one point, like just burning through a shitload of fucking money. Since then, he was saying since her father's taken over, I mean, for what we gathered, she hasn't been suicidal. Her money's still fucking intact. Her career's going pretty well. You know, so like that's what I say. I try seeing it fucking for both angles. Like Salena was saying, I 100% agree that it could be possible that her fucking dad, her family, her parents are all just like using her and stuff, and they're trying to get to her fucking money and make her, you know, their breadwinner. That could possibly fucking be true. Could also be
definitely is the case.
Could also be true though. That maybe she really is like mentally ill, and if they leave her to her own capacity, what if she, like, you know, winds up killing herself or get into a car accident, or what if she winds up severely hurting herself? As her parents are like, well, damn, it's like if we weren't conservators, we want it freeing her, and now she's dead.
Yeah, so, well, here's the thing. You know, they still claim she is suicidal.
Yeah.
So it's been years since she's been suicidal, and since they've been claiming she's suicidal, which is why she needs her conservatorship, and yet she's still suicidal, which is why she still needs to be under a conservator, which I find very contradicting, because you're supposed to help people in that circumstance. The fact that she's still suicidal.
Right.
But I don't know. I just find it incredibly corrupt. I feel bad for her. She admitted that she never wanted to do her Las Vegas tour or whatever it was, and they forced her to do it because under her conservatorship, she basically doesn't have a right to say yes or no to anything. Her therapists are assigned to her. Her jobs are basically assigned to her. And she's paying for everything. She's working her ass off because she has no choice, because she doesn't have the right to say no to it. And
that's probably why she be having thoughts of suicide and stuff, because not being able to do what she wants freely.
Yeah, she says she wants to sue her family. And I don't know. I just think the whole situation is very groggy. But outside looking in, long before the Free Britney movement even begun, you can already tell that her parents and family sold her out. Fucking sold her out. And yeah, I find it like horrible, but also to an extent, I don't know what it's like behind the curtains. I can only see what's being sold to us. Like, yeah, she was sexually exploited to the public, but who knows, behind closed doors, she obviously had a very privileged, lovely life full of art and music and dance. And all this freaking lady wanted to do was just sing and dance for people. That's all she wanted to do ever since she was a little girl, was just sing and freaking dance for people. And I don't know. It's just a very painful friggin' thing to see and to watch, especially 2008 Britney, when she was going under that type of psychosis and they completely thrown her under the bus. A person like that doesn't deserve a conservator at that point. They deserve help. It's completely rational. I bet anybody who was in her position would have done a whole lot worse. But she'd been going through it since she was 6 or 8 years old. So it was probably very normal for her to be followed by paparazzi because that was her whole life. But in my situation, if somebody was harassing me, I'd do more than beat up your car with a goddamn umbrella.
Yeah.
I'd friggin' like probably physically assault you and be a fucking psychopath in this country. So to an extent, who knows? Maybe what she did was much more graceful than what anybody would do. Maybe shaving her head was the graceful way of handling her psychosis.
So I'm looking at the video, like you mentioned, the comments. So I clicked on the video that he did because it says, Ben Shapiro Ben Shapiro weighs in on the Free Britney movement, and comments are 4,000 comments. But the top one, and this guy had 60 replies. So he says, this is from Hard Boiled Entertainment from 3 days ago. This is July 5th. But he says, Ben, if you agree that the parents made her so many terrible decisions with her, why should her father be involved in any way in the conservatorship? It's okay. So I'll read the comments against that. One guy was like, well, do you think she'd be better on her own? Someone's like, yes, it's her money and not her father's because he abandoned her. 60 likes. But then someone's like, well, someone named Stormy says, it is even true. Britney's the one who wanted to be a performer and dragged her mom around. Then a family friend agreed to take Britney to build whatever career she wanted while her mom raised Britney's little sister. Jamie was hardly involved. They were not stage parents. So, okay. And see.
Britney Spears' mom been in interviews with her, so she was somewhat involved.
So someone's like, I don't think Ben is arguing that her father specifically should be her conservator. I think what he is saying is that all the evidence suggests that she's not fit to take care of herself. So someone's like, well, she wanted to sing and dance. It's not as if she was being forced. If she had the option,
she was being forced though,
and if she had the option to quit any time. No biographer claims Britney had stage parents. She's obviously way crazier than public want to understand. So someone's like, she never has to be on her own.
Yeah, I think the public paints her crazier than she really is. I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I think anybody would friggin' lose their mind being harassed, especially when you have children. And it was stated that she went through postpartum depression after her second one, which I never experienced it, but it sometimes causes hallucinations, postpartum depression. So if on top of that she was going through that and being severely harassed, her postpartum depression was supposedly the cause of her divorce and stuff. So she was going through a lot of stress. You try being harassed and being told to smile and literally be yelled at by strangers with cameras in your face almost every day of your life and see how freaking healthy you're going to be.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think her reaction at this point, knowing what I know, is graceful. She's like, we're lucky that she didn't friggin' hurt somebody the amount of like hurt people were doing to her. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And all she wanted to do was just sing and dance. But yeah, that's my argument. Free Britney. And free Amanda Bynes,
Someone's
too.
like, her dad's her blood, that's why. Britney fans are the worst. Just leave her alone. If 5150 means she tried to kill herself, it's her fans' fault 99% of the time. It's not about her fucking mind, it's about her mental state. Why should the public have input in how she is being treated if there's no proof of maleficence? So, there's one I'm trying to look down here. So.
Because we all love Britney, that's why. And also, because nobody knows what's really going on behind closed doors. And she also states that she does want the help.
Yeah.
And she condones it. I think the way, like, the public paints it to an extent is they make it seem like she's under, like, friggin' surveillance 24/7 and is, like, a slave, which I don't think she's, like, a slave ultimately, but I do think she's being manipulated by her own family so she doesn't have claim to all her funds and other people can spend it.
So I'm seeing these two people go at it, this Afro Prince and the guy who made the comment that Hardball Entertainment, he just says, Britney has a mood psychotic disorder. We don't know how reliable her view of things are. As far as we know, everything she's claiming could be a result of paranoia and delusions. Her father might be a great conservator. I'm not saying he is, but the fact that everyone is just assuming he's based off the testimony of a severely mentally ill person is irresponsible. If you ask a young child whether they had good parents right after they were told they couldn't have dessert, a sizable percentage would say their parents were awful. That doesn't mean that they are. So this guy's like, but yet he comments back saying, but then Ben Shapiro notes that this video that the man's parentage wasn't very good. He goes, did I claim that he raised her well? I don't see how your response is relevant to what I said. Being a parent and being a conservator is very different.
Yeah, that's a very poor example to compare her conservatorship of and denying her of her own money as denying her a piece of cake. I don't know. Outside looking in, her father does seem greedy, and I don't think he should be her conservator. If Britney wants to spend all her money and not leave a friggin' penny for anybody else, she completely has the right to do that.
This guy says that talking about like people like having money and stuff being on their own. He goes, so do you think that child stars should be emancipated? And then he's class back. Being able to dance and sing does not make someone mentally fit to take care of themselves. I think one person, are you asking out of curiosity or hostility? Doesn't matter. If she's capable of working herself, she doesn't need a conservatorship.
I agree.
If this is true, child stars should be allowed to become emancipated. No.
I mean, if they are going through, I mean, to be honest, to an extent, I do agree with that. But I'm not saying every parent who is trying to make their child famous is a bad parent, but I'm definitely not going to write them off and say there ain't no financial incentives, especially when you hear the stories about Dan Schneider, that whatever the producer or writer of iCarly and Victorious, and how like they would have these friggin' parties at all these aspiring actors and actresses would go to, and one of the girls who would attend these parties admitted that you would get the most attention if you were at the pool. If you were in a bikini at the pool between the ages of 12 or 22 or 13 or 22 years old, you'll get the attraction of Dan Schneider and these people. That's where Hilary Duff was discovered. That's where Lindsay Lohan was discovered, was supposedly at a pool at a very young age. Oh. So and parents are allowing that.
Yeah, like how, so let's see, going further. So someone's like, emancipation from parental control allows a child to legally make adult decisions. It does not mean they're legally considered an adult. He's like, you're not answering my question. I'm not asking about the legality of emancipation. If a child can make money, do you believe they should be allowed to make all of their life decisions? You seem to be implying that being able to sing and dance at a professional level means someone is capable of being an independent, functioning member of society. If not, you should recognize your argument as bunk.
All right, well then, is that person saying that somebody who can like sing and dance and perform shows at like a mass level that they're not capable of it? I don't know. I feel like that's just a weird argument in general.
This is funny. Actually, Britney looks pretty good compared to Charlie Sheen and Kanye West, who are not conservatorships. If she really wanted to hurt herself, she could anyway. Besides, she's almost 40.
She did hurt herself.
She's almost 40, and if she chooses to blow all her money and make her bad decisions, this America's her choice. And he goes, I like how you've pointed out two other mentally ill, drug-addicted individuals to make your point. And again,
and neither of them have a conservator. Yeah. I feel like if Britney Spears deserve a conservator, then can we get all these homeless people conservators? Because they definitely need help and need in control of their money. But I guess Britney Spears isn't rich nor homeless, so maybe that's why she needs a conservator. She's too rich and people are too greedy.
Well, so, like these two, and it's the last two comments, and then they're done for it. But I just, because they're going back and forth, they're both making good points. That's what I like it for. Because he says that, okay, your premise in Ben seems to be that it's incredibly difficult to be put into a conservatorship. It's supposed to be, but in practice, that doesn't seem to be the case. If you wish for other sources, I suggest to find legal channels and a bunch of different people on here. Legal lunch bunks, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you didn't address this. So he goes, I can tell you that from my own personal experience, I can tell you this is necessary. I had an uncle with schizophrenia, and before his condition got too bad, he became independently wealthy. When his psychosis became severe, he would disappear for months at a time, sleeping on streets, and became convinced everyone, including his loved ones, were trying to kill him. Eventually, my father got a conservatorship over him and used my uncle's money to put him in a high-end nursing home. For years, my father would visit him weekly, taking him wherever he wanted to go. Despite this, and the round-the-clock care my uncle eventually took his own life. Mental illness can all be encompassing, and it's a mentality of who cares if they end up dead in the gutter as long as they're free mentality, that people like you hold that is causing a mental health crisis almost problem in this country. If you want to actually respond to all my points, I'll respond to you a good one. So, and then they stopped talking. So, but
yeah, I find that weird because I feel like it's basically calling Britney just as crazy as his crazy uncle, which I'm pretty sure his crazy uncle couldn't sing and dance. So I don't know.
Well, I mean,
it's iffy. And also, if she was poor, would that even be? I honestly believe the conservatorship is because she has so much money and is paying so many people that nobody wants to make that risk. Like nobody wants Britney to like change her mind. They they were in control of her since she was in the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where like their hair is under Ariana Grande's hair was under contract where she couldn't like do anything. Like she wasn't in charge of her own hair. It was the show was in charge of her own hair. So if that's even like similar to Britney Spears, like Britney Spears has to have like birth control, whatever you call it, IUD in her arm because they don't want her to have children. And I just think that's messed up.
So these are from a couple hours ago, the last two. And this one who dreams awake says, generally speaking, I don't like the idea of anyone telling a woman, no, you can't have more children because you're too crazy. Now go and work this tour and make more money. It's clear that the goal is for her to continue making money regardless of her desires for her own future or her state of health.
Mm-hmm.
The desire to have children is wholly healthy and normal, especially at her age. It is aberrant, so I'm not sure that the motivation, aside from her being unfit or interfering with her work. If she's too mentally unstable to have more children, she's 100% too mentally unstable to continue to work.
Right.
General conservatorship is a slippery slope when it comes to basic human rights. As many people have also stated, mental health professionals don't have a very high threshold to put someone in conservatorship. So he says, okay, we don't even know how much of what she's saying is true, but assuming it is, there are plenty of child stars working in high-pressure entertainment jobs who aren't ready to have children. The fact that she can't even get half custody of her children, despite the fact that she is the mother and is worth 8 figures, also says a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I said. I mean, the guy's like not swearing on some people. He is. These two people on YouTube, they are making a lot of good fucking points. You know, it's like. I mean, it's like like Kanye West is almost a fucking billionaire. Listen to any of his interviews. Would anyone say that man is mentally sane?
Yeah, maybe he should he have a conservator? Maybe Kanye West should have a conservator.
Well, maybe his parents. Well, his mother did die. I think actually both his fucking parents are dead.
I think Kim Kardashian was trying to be by telling him he needs to go into a psych ward, but then he just put her and Kris Jenner on blast.
Or like like Charlie Sheen, for example. Charlie Sheen's father, maybe said some of these fucking people's families, they might not care. To be a conservative. So it's like, that's the fucking slippery slope we're always going down to. It's like, is her fucking parents looking out for her well-being? Or it's like, or are they just milking her? We don't fucking know.
I mean, I think they're milking her at this point. I don't know, though. I'm not them. And what it looks like outside looking in, it definitely looks like her family exploited her since a little girl. If you're under contract since you're 6 years old, like, I don't know. Yeah. It's a pretty touchy subject, but also Amanda Bynes also has a conservator, and reading the claims, although she does say really crazy stuff on Twitter, like Amanda Bynes comes off very, very crazy, very, very mentally unstable, but she also had very severe body dysmorphia, and her mother fed into that. With Amanda Bynes, she said she lost a lot of weight when she had mono, up to 100 pounds. She went down to 100 pounds, and her mom said that was like the best she ever looked ever. Yeah. And it gave Amanda Bynes severe body dysmorphia and made her always want to be skinny and want to be 100 pounds. And she doesn't have access to any of her money. She also claims that she can't even afford school supplies. Her mother isn't giving her monthly income, which is under court order. Yeah. But her mother just got done buying like a $60 million house or something like that with her money. But I feel bad for her. I think child stars specifically have a lot to lose when it comes to their childhood and it comes to their adults, because by the time they are like an 18-year-old and have control, they've already been in the system for so long. It's like, good luck trying to make a name for yourself, or like, I don't know, unless you have parents who do care about you more than the wealth.
I think some of that's thing about comes down to moral question, because like Elliot said that, and you said it, honey, is that, and a lot of people said is that, a lot of times in this country, people don't take mental health seriously or mental illness seriously. So like, and this could be like a controversial question. So it's like, look at a situation like this, it seems like mental health is be taken seriously, but then if mental health is, you're giving this fucking woman who may or not mean help conservatorship, it's almost like we're doing what you guys are asking us to do, then we do it, now you're telling us we're the bad guys.
No, that's literally the last answer. Conservatorship is usually for really old people who are too old to handle their funds, or for disabilities, mental disabilities. Those are the main cases for a conservator. To like say that, I don't know, there's way more different ways to help. I feel like the last one of the last things should be a conservatorship. Get them a psychiatrist, get them help, get them support, get them like
Well, so
cognitive therapy.
Like
or
you're saying,
something.
we're just mentioning Kanye and Charlie Sheen. So you said, why isn't anybody making them conservators? So it's like you'd see a person like Charlie Sheen and Kanye West doing psychotic, crazy, off the wall fucking kind of shit, and everyone's like, why doesn't somebody help them? So in Britney's case, people are helping her, and now you're like, well, no one should help her. So it seems like a catch-22. It's like when we do help these people, we're the bad guys. If we don't help them, we're the bad guys.
I just don't see it as help, what they did to Britney. Also, if they did want to help Kanye West, I wouldn't. The only reason why I say give him a conservatorship is to point out how ridiculous it would be to do that to Kanye West or Charlie Sheen, because I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt and think that they can get better and can become healthy, and that, you know, get them therapy, get them a therapist that they want first before what you want.
Well,
and also, Britney claimed that they fed her Valium when she refused to perform or something, and so they just prescribed her Valium because they were like as a punishment or something.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, that's what's scary about the situation is like, now if she's saying that, is it true, or is a person that's just mentally ill crying for help? You know, that's the problem. We don't know. But like I just said, I'll come down to this, like saying that I am 50-50 on the matter where it's like, I think it could be true. It couldn't be true, but like basically what Ben was saying though, I mean, in terms of facts and documents stuff too, the two things are going against her. Number one, the custody of her fucking kids. Number two, the fact that, well, she was shaving her head and stuff, and she was getting into legal trouble. She was at one point suicidal. And also the fact that a court, I highly doubt, I mean, it could be conspiracy theories, but like the fact that thinking that her father was paying off different judges and therapists and fucking and counselors to get conservatorship.
Well, you're the one who admitted that, you know, it's that you can corrupt the juror or whatever. You can assign specific jury members.
It's possible. Yeah. It's possible. I'm just saying, not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying like, but like, you know, to what Ben was saying, for anybody, especially with somebody that kind of fucking money, for someone to give a conservatorship, like you were saying, Salena, that if usually it's for people that are older people or people that have kind of money, for someone to get conservatorship of a young girl in her 30s, there had to be a lot of documentation and court stuff that the public is unaware of. You know, so it's like Ben was saying, they didn't just get conservatorship by just like asking for it. There had to be, this is a very long, lengthy fucking process. And the fact that she still doesn't have even half custody of her own fucking children, that's some shit. I mean, there's women that are fucking crackheads that can fucking full custody of their kids. You know, so I mean,
but they're also not Britney Spears and have millions of dollars and are also in the spotlight. I don't think we should compare Britney Spears' situation to the average conservatorship or to the average citizen. It is completely different.
Then I would also say too, then she should have better fucking access to better high paid lawyers than the average people. So like the fact that Kevin Federline,
she's under a conservatorship. How can she?
But before that though, she was a free woman in her 20s and 30s. This conservatorship happened how many years ago?
I think it was 13. I forget. It was past 13 years, or is it 7 years? I don't know, but it's been
well, that's what I'm saying. Like
years.
The fact that, but she would have access to like, because family court, I know it's firsthand. Family court comes down to who has the fucking more money for better attorneys and shit that gets custody of the kids. I'm pretty sure her net worth is way higher than Kevin Federline's fucking net worth. She would have had access to fucking 10 times the lawyers that he would have had. So, you know, that's a
shame on her for not being educated for it. But I feel like if you can't understand why she shaved her head, you're the one who needs a freaking conservatorship, because the fact that like you don't get how freaking like she was literally publicly dragged and dehumanized, literally dehumanized. What would you do if you were put through that? Would you just be like, okay, I'll just deal with it. I'll just be like a non-human and also consider myself a shitty person while making like people under me rich? But I don't know. I completely understand why she shaved her head. It was a cry out for help because the public was abusing her. She was severely abused, and people want to act like she lived such a cushy life because she sang and danced for the public, when the reality is fucking like society ruined her. Which is kind of why we're so invested now, is because we were just as invested then into her. But I completely understand why she behaved the way she behaved. I don't think it was a sign of a mentally ill person. I think it was a sign of a person being pushed. And if anybody else was in her shoes, they probably would have done a lot worse. Probably would have done way worse. Probably I know personally, I would probably been physically assaulted somebody. If you're going to follow me, especially when I'm with my child, we're fighting. We're completely fighting.
Okay.
Well, I feel like the way Britney Spears handled all that was honestly graceful compared to anybody else. But we're all average citizens. She's one of the most loved people in this country since she was very young. Her situation is not the same. And to compare it to an actual regular conservatorship over like the average citizen, it's not the same. The argument doesn't hold any merit to me because it's just not the same. Millions of dollars aren't at stake. And also so much attention too.
She was put on conservatorship in February of 2008, which has been 13 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, it says people also guess, why did she get conservatorship? She was put under conservatorship following her very public breakdown in 2008. And following a year of seemingly erratic behavior, such as shaving her head and attacking a paparazzi's car with an umbrella, the singer was put under a 5150 hold in a psychiatric hospital for mental health evaluation. So,
yeah, I feel bad for her. I think those fucking paparazzis need a mental fucking evaluation. They stalked her. They stalked her severely for money. And also in the documentary I read, just a picture of Britney Spears. Britney Spears' story was, I want to say, 25% of a magazine's annual income. I don't know if it was People magazine or fucking TMZ, but some magazine, 25%, 1/4 of their annual income was because of Britney Spears. 25% of all their money they made that year was because of Britney Spears. She was stalked severely. She couldn't even sleep in peace every day of her life. That is the reality of the situation. That is nothing like any of us. We would never know what that's like.
This is what I want to know, because so the court appearance, so this did happen June. This happened, June 24th. So it's like the Los Angeles court last week denied her pop star Britney Spears' request to remove her father from her father's conservatorship on guardianship under which she was remained since 2008. The court's formal ruling, however, is not related to the singer's plea in court on June 24th, calling for an end to the abusive conservatorship. The ruling on June 30th was in relation to a request last year by her lawyer to remove her father, Jamie Spears, from the conservatorship and add wealth management firm Bessemer Trust to the conservatorship. Okay. The judge approved the company to remain in charge alongside Jamie Spears. Bessemer Trust on July 1st asked the court to withdraw from the arrangement after Britney Spears opposed the conservatorship during her testimony earlier, further complicating the case. So, but, I mean, I don't know.
Free Britney!
There was a reason that the court denied it. I mean, so it said
maybe it was a financial incentive. Just like there was a reason Bill Cosby got let go, even though he's clearly guilty.
That was a technicality. But, yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell what happens with her. I mean, either said she's going to it's going to get better or going to get worse.
I don't know. I feel like just to completely throw her under the bus as mentally ill is just completely ignorant when you don't know her life. And just outside looking in, it's very stressful. It stresses me out. I wouldn't even want to be famous. She makes being famous look very, very bad. Yeah. Like, not because of how she handled it in her psychosis, but just experiencing it. Getting severely harassed, that's scary. That's
the thing with some fans, though. Some fans, maybe because they're fans of her music or what she's going through, they may be blind to the fact that possibly she does need help, but because they're such fans of hers, like how Bill Cosby, no matter what this man does, how horrible he is, because you're a fan of his, you're blind. You'd be blinded to the fact that he's done horrible shit. In Britney's case, what if she actually does need help?
Then give her the help. The conservatorship is not the help. It's the last thing they need. Give her the help. Give her the help so she can handle her money. And if you're saying that she couldn't handle her money, you never even gave her a chance because you were in control of her since she was like 6 or 8 years old, since the Mickey Mouse Club. She was under these contracts. She was always under these contracts. She couldn't even dye her hair. Like, you know what I mean? Your whole body is literally insured. Like,
yeah. Well, the moral of the story, kids, is do not make your kids child stars. So.
Unless you're a decent parent and won't use them for money.
Right.
I'm not saying there's probably a lot of parents with, genuine, goals for their child. If their child wants to sing and dance and they want to give their child everything in the world and they want their child to pursue their dreams, I completely understand that. But if you get older and you realize your child doesn't want to do that anymore, but they're already making a lot of money, you as the parent and technically responsible for this child, are you going to make them do that anyway because they're making hundreds of thousands a year and they're the breadwinner? Or are you going to be like, all right, honey, choose a different career path and stuff and stop making money for our family? And I feel like that was the situation Britney's the case.
Yeah. So, let's see. I'll do a fucking Dower News article for we to wrap it up because just because I read shit like this and I never like to dwell on it, but hey guys, there's evil in the world, and I can't laugh about it, but it's fucked up when shit happens. I gotta, talk about it. Because I wish Ellie was here to laugh at this just to break the tension. But man who killed 5-year-old son over cheesecake is headed to prison for 20 years. And off the bat, you're like, what? Like, I
would have laughed. It's not that I didn't think it was funny. It's hilarious, but I had some Mike's hard.
Yeah.
In the mouth, I didn't want to spit it out.
Over Britney, so go on.
That just the way saying that sounds crazy enough.
I instantly thought that it should be illegal for some people to have kids, and that person is one of them. I hate believing in
honestly,
that, but
no,
as I get older, I believe it more.
Maybe like I'm not sure when I did this. Who knows? Like what year Christian turned it, but like I've been saying for a long time that I 100% fucking agree. Situations like this is why it's like people. Joe Rogan said this. He's like, you require a license to drive a car, which is 2,000, 3,000 fucking pounds that can kill somebody. Mm-hmm. It requires a license to hold a firearm and stuff. Right. Requires a license to how many things. There's no license required to have children.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think you should.
A man like this, a prime example. A Wisconsin man who admitted that he punched and killed his 5-year-old son over a slice of cheesecake is headed to prison for 20 years. The fucker should get a death penalty, as far as I'm concerned, but okay.
Disgusting.
So Travis Stackhouse, you piece of shit, was 30 years old, was sentenced Tuesday for the 2019 death of 5-year-old Seer Amir, who died from a ruptured stomach and other injuries after his father got violent for him for having one piece of cake Stackhouse received on Father's Day. The county circuit judge, David Borowski, tore into good thing for the judge right now. He tore into him before he slapped him with the sentence, which also comes with 8 years of supervised release. The average person that hears about this case can't understand how you would beat or punch any living human being as badly as you did in this case, let alone your own child. How can you live with yourself ever for a day? I don't understand. He could have
been pretty good cheesecake. Sorry, I'm just picturing that's what Elliot would have said.
Exactly.
Good one, Salena.
Exactly. She reads the room.
I tried.
Oh, it's like that kid. Yeah, he said something stupid like the kid eating cheesecake. But Stackhouse could have seen up to 37 years behind bars. See, here's legal system. But he pleaded guilty to reduce charges last month. See, and this is the fucking problem. The guy could have got 37 years. He got 20. Not that 37 years is a solution, but like it's still better than him getting fucking 20. But he pleaded guilty to reduce charges. You killed your own fucking 5-year-old. You beat him to death over cheesecake. You should get fucking. All right.
I'm not disagreeing.
When he died in June 2019, police were initially told that the kid had fallen downstairs, of course. But Stackhouse, who has four other children, admitted he punched the child in the stomach and struck him in the face. After he hit his son, he went out to the bar and returned at 2 o'clock in the morning when his girlfriend called 911. The newspaper said Deputy District Attorney described the excruciating pain of the child's final moments. Jesus Christ. There should be no safer place in our community for a child than their own home. So
yeah, that's heartbreaking.
But I pull shit there because it's a dour thing, but like Elliot would say that truth is more fucked up than fiction, and yeah, I mean this is like I agree with Salena 100% that fucking unfortunately we can't monitor stuff, but something like that you shouldn't have fucking children.
Yeah, I wouldn't even care if I wouldn't fall into the exception. Like I do believe that you should have a license to have children. Like certain people should not have kids. I wouldn't even care if I'm one of those people. Like it is what it is. I want like healthy living situations for all children.
But just like I truly like there's nothing, no fucking word or expression you could explain to me in any language I can understand that you murdered your own kid and you admitted into a court proceeding that I killed my kid over a piece of cheesecake. I just explain that to me. I would never.
Sad. Well, he went to the bar, so he was clearly a severe alcoholic from the sound of it. So,
oh fuck, this just popped up. I had to read this because hopefully this will lighten the mood for everybody. Because plus we're all drinking. That's why.
Let's leave on a good note. Yeah. I'm getting all drunk and angry. Free Britney.
Says July
advertising to Mike's boner.
Here's going for everybody. This should make you guys happy. So what makes me happy?
Now I'm kind of scared of what
Actually,
the article is.
I'll let you read this then, honey. You can read the last article for tonight because it makes me laugh because I'm sick.
I thought you said
Alrighty,
Jamaica make me
last
happy.
article.
I'm like, that's a drink, actually.
Woman suffers terribly painful burns after spilling cocktail on foot. Ow! Her foot looks so bad.
Can I see?
She deserved it.
She makes my feet look beautiful. I have really ugly feet.
She wants to make
No, her freaking second toe is like...
Look at that shit.
It's
She
like
got
a
a
Subway
whole
foot
middle.
long
She
second
got a
toe.
whole middle finger.
Makes you want to pour a cocktail, doesn't
Got some
it?
hot dog toes,
Ooh,
but...
boy.
Let's see. Megan Clancy suffered painful, unsightly margarita burns after a cocktail was spilled over her on a boat trip.
Damn.
A cocktail left an Australian reveler struggling to stand, and not in the way you think. Megan Clancy redefined hot shots after someone accidentally spilled a cocktail on her foot, inexplicably leaving her with painful, debilitating burns.
Ow.
It was very dramatically ugly. I don't have pretty feet as it is, Clancy recently told Kennedy News of the Tootsie searing incident, which
Tootsie.
occurred in October in
Her
Sydney.
tootsies got burned.
The 44-year-old was reportedly day drinking with friends on a boat when someone spilled a vodka, lime, and soda on her bare foot, the Mirror reported.
Mm-hmm.
The Sydney native toweled off her toes and didn't think anything of it until that night when it began to feel very hot and quite sore. Clancy recounted of her bizarre chemical burn. I turned on the light and went, "Oh my goodness," explained the Aussie. It had swollen up to my knee and it was absolutely burning. The pain became so great that she was forced to sleep with her foot in a box to prevent anything touching it.
Jesus.
The next day, after failing to put on shoes due to the agony, the pain-partied gal hobbled into work, whereupon her boss sent her to the hospital to get her tortured trotter examined. Her tortured trotter! The wordings in this is amazing. Oh my God, her foot looks so bad. Aww.
So then what was in the cocktail to do that to her, though?
It was very dramatically ugly. After 6 hours of examination by different departments, medics diagnosed Clancy with contact dermatitis, an itchy rash generally caused by allergies, but still weren't sure what sparked the reaction.
Yeah.
The perplexed patient thought she might have contracted the rash while swimming with friends over the weekend. Shortly thereafter, Clancy's skin began to blister. It almost looked like acid burn, said the mortified woman who analogized the Freddy Krueger evoking splotch.
Damn.
Wow.
They roasting her foot over here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they already started when he said tootsies, so it was bound to get roasted. No pun intended.
Who analogized the Freddy Krueger evoking splotch to a wine stain birthmark that children get. Not only that, but my cows were the size of my thighs, remarked Clancy.
Damn.
The mystery was revealed after Clancy's property manager uploaded pics of her foot to social media. One of her girlfriends said she had margarita burn, a common skin affliction caused by chemicals in lime reacting to the sun.
Huh.
Dubbed phytophotodermatitis, the Fight Club-esque reaction.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Just slaying this poor woman.
They slay me so much. The Fight Club-esque reaction generally occurs when someone gets a substance on the skin that's photo or UV sensitive, said Dr. Clarissa Yang, a dermatologist at Tufts Medical Center in Boston. When exposed to the sun, this can cause a phototoxic reaction, she said. The malady can manifest as anything from painless pigmentation to excruciating blisters, as in Clancy's case, depending on the skin tone and level of exposure.
Jeez.
However, because reaction time is usually delayed, anywhere from 1 to 3 days per yang, it can be difficult for patients to realize what's happening. The issue when the burn comes up is that you don't realize what created it, lamented Clancy, who struggled to walk for weeks due to the severe pain.
Mm-hmm.
It was also cosmetically catastrophic, with her skin discoloration reportedly persisting for months before finally subsiding. Thankfully, it appears that the worst is over. My foot is pretty normal now, said the relieved reveler, who reportedly still very cautious when I'm out in the sun because I still think there's a little bit of staining.
Yeah.
Clancy suffered from margarita burn, a painful chemical reaction that occurs when the chemicals in lime gets exposed to sunlight. In the event that Clancy inadvertently toes the line in the future, doctors recommend getting a prescription cream from one's doctor and applying aloe vera to soothe the burn in the interim.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, the astute woman plans to bring baby wipes with her on future outings to avoid potential complications caused by some errant fruit by the foot. Oh my God, that is so punny. The punniest article I ever read. Oh my God, that poor woman though.
I've heard Elliot, anybody would like this, and made me laugh that some woman like have margaritas on her feet and she's burning and suffering agony. Just made me happy for some reason.
I don't know. She makes me feel better about my feet. I think I might go get a pedicure for the first time in my life after looking at her toes.
See, whenever you think you have bad feet, somebody's get worse off than you. So.
Yeah, I usually do it myself, but
yeah. If you want to just sprinkling margaritas on your feet and post on Instagram.
That is very interesting. Like, I love how that like horrible, traumatizing life experience she had educated like thousands of people, because I'm never gonna put lime on my body anywhere.
Oh, this is one more. I can help this. I'll let you, because I gotta get this one out. Holy shit, because this just popped up real quick.
What is it?
It's all right. A woman wakes up to a mouse eating her eyeball during a rodent plague. Holy shit!
Oh my fucking God! I don't condone killing animals, but that mouse is dead. New South Wales. Here, I can hear Elliot laughing off that one. Like, how the hell does that happen?
New South Wales have been overrun by tens of millions of rodents from Brisbane to Melbourne, Australia. Says these mice blind you. Just in case the ongoing Australian rodent plague wasn't horrifying enough, a farmer's wife was hospitalized after she woke up to a mouse eating her eyeball. Like, whoa!
3 blinding mice.
Yeah. She's one of the
blinding and hungry mice.
So she is one of the many victims of the unprecedented pestilence.
Victims?
Yeah, which has seen millions of the furry vermin wreak havoc on communities from Brisbane to Melbourne. In another stomach-churning incident last month, a farmer felt a mouse scurry across his face as he slept. I felt the tickly, furry sensation as it crawled from behind my ears across my cheek. He says, it made my skin crawl, my hair stood up, I just jumped out of bed. The 35-year-old farmer added, for the rest of the night, I couldn't sleep a wink until I caught the mouse in a trap underneath the bed.
Oh, that is horrible.
Just weeks earlier, his wife experienced a similar horror after she was woken up by one of the pests chewing on her wedding ring finger. He lamented, "We've got 2 young kids. It does make you worry that when they wake up crying because they have a mouse in their bed." Whoa. So, these rodent run-ins are more than just disgusting. They also have the potential to spread disease. One hotel owner nearly died after contracting leptospirosis, a bacterial infection that is found in the rodent's urine. The mice also have caused hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of crop damage, sparking fires by gnawing through electrical cords, and even begun cannibalizing themselves. Ugh. These mice are into everything. If I walk out the door, they stand still, they'll climb out the outside of my trousers and inside of my trousers. They're just running everywhere.
Oh my God.
They've taken over a lot of our homes, our sheds, our vehicles, our tractors. Meanwhile, Australian inmates and staff were forced to evacuate a prison.
What the fuck?
Last month, after the facility was put under mouse arrest.
That is insane.
The infestation has gotten so bad that fed up Australians are calling for the scourge to be declared a natural disaster so they can collect insurance payouts for any mouse-induced damage. Holy shit.
What is going on in Australia that is making them thrive so much?
And of course, it keeps getting worse too, which is, I don't know, it's fucked up. Poor Australia.
In Albany, though, we used to have a Rats Cove. It's a street off of Grand Street. There's houses over it now, but it used to be just like martial land that was covered in rats.
So it says, if that wasn't disastrous enough, the hairy hordes could give rise to a plague of venomous snakes looking to capitalize on the glut. While the serpents may mitigate the menace, they could ultimately pose a bigger threat as 100 species of snakes in Australia are venomous and deadly to humans.
Oh my God.
In an attempt to prevent a prolonged plague event, the New South Wales government has procured 5,000 liters of the rodentide formaldehyde, which is currently prohibited for agricultural use nationwide. They have no choice though. So, whoa, that's A lot of fucking mice.
That's fucking crazy. They're getting smart, man. They must have realized, yo, there's more of us than them. Let's take over Australia.
Yep. So next time you're sleeping, honey, and you feel something, walking across your face and shit, and something furry and delicious.
Oh, hell no. I'm getting out. I'm going home.
That's
What if you are home, though?
Well, then I'm going
I'm
outside.
going to text message, honey, there's a mouse. mouse ran up my skirt.
Now, I don't believe in killing animals, but if there's more of them than me and they're literally trying to kill me first, then I'm going to kill them back.
Here's a video fuck right now of, look at all the fucking mice right there and everything. That's the video, so yeah. I'll wake up and there's a fucking mouse. There's a fucking mouse gnawing on my balls, man. Listen. Shit.
Where is that?
Australia. Yeah.
Where are they living? In the slums?
Well, the farms and stuff. There's farms in Australia.
These are farms, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and that's very
a lot of
scary. Oh
fucking
my
mice, though.
god, and they're so fucking cute, but it's terrifying.
Yeah, they're cute, right? Would you go to fucking sleep? When one's gnawing on your fucking eyeball.
Why are there so many of them? Is it because of their climate? They're
Something's
just able
happening.
to thrive there?
Well, the climate. Well, people keep saying climate change isn't fucking real. I'm like, well, no, nature tends to disagree. So next time I pull up another news article, I actually pulled up a news article. I won't, because we're hitting 2 hours right now, but about fucking ice and stuff and like world record fucking temperature rises. More fucking ice caps like they're more ice caps are fucking melting, whether you want to believe it or not. It's happening. So
yeah. Let's leave off on that
cool.
depressing note.
That was cool to fun. We did a whole fucking hour on Cosby. I'm sure if Elliot or and
an hour on Britney.
If anybody else wants to chime in later on, they can. But I just want to get out there now because it is controversial and we're not trying to get into much in celebrity gossip. But the Bill Cosby thing is a big fucking. We talked about him plenty of times in this podcast. He just fucked up, man. Good old Bill. But it just shows fucking. It's why I've said before, I said it again. I don't know. I'm not a female. Never been fucking raped. Never been molested. Never been roofied with a drink. And I can't imagine if that did happen to you. What you mentally? It's the fucking the sad cold reality of this situation may just be hey, if it happens, you just have to try to live with it and hope you can move past it because there's nothing you can fucking do. And that's fucking scary. That hopefully.
What I'd personally do is I try to get justice. If that happened to me, I would want to, get a good lawyer if I can afford it. Yeah. But if not, then I'll just take matters into my own damn hands. If you can get away with fucking raping me, I guess I can get away with getting you stabbed.
And, and the scary part, it may come down to that. It may come down to that's what I was reading some comments on Twitter. People were saying this shit it's going to keep happening. It's happening. At some point, something's going to fucking break off and it's come down to, vigilantism. Or people just taking matters into their own fucking hands. Yeah. I just know personally, as somebody said, I've got 3 fucking sisters. I got Susan, a mother, got a girlfriend now. Let something happen to any one of these fucking women and nothing gets fucking done. I've been to fucking prison. I'll go back. Sorry. Because if some shit like that happened, if I found out somebody fucking roofied and did this shit to one of my fucking family members, somebody I cared about, and nothing got fucking done, well, guess what? Then time for me to take care of shit then.
So hopefully it'll never happen, sweetheart.
Yeah. But, that was fun. You guys, any last thoughts?
I had fun drunkenly rant. I was pretty sober in the beginning, but after the Britney Spears argument, I realized I was getting tipsy and just starting to get very into the conversation. But it was fun.
There was nothing wrong with that.
No, that's why I said we talked about I said Salena, I tried being almost like Joe Rogan, tried being 50-50. I see where she's coming from. I see both sides. I see where, even like Bill Cosby, what if for argument's sake, what if the man was fucking innocent? It's I don't think, personally, none of us think that he is, but just, for argument's sake, what if he fucking was? It's nothing's outside their own possibility, but when we always go by when the evidence is just damning, when you have 40 fucking women and in fact, your own testimonies, it's kind of, it's it's kind of hard to believe you're innocent, bro, when there's so much evidence going against you and shit. So.
But I had fun. Thank you for listening. My name is Salena.
Yeah. Hi, Salena.
And I approve this message.
She says free Britney. But as always, guys, happy 4th of July. And hopefully we'll be here next 4th of July. And I'll be fucking 40 next 4th of July. So that's depressing. But
I'll be 36.
That's another topic.
20s are the new 40s.
Yeah. So as always, guys, this shit's free. One day I'll get a YouTube video going because I've been watching, especially with Bill Cosby, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos this week. And, I'll get it going, but it takes time that I don't have. So if I can get a week off of work or something, but it's always like, hey, this shit's free. It's always going to be free. And especially after fucking 4th of July, take care of your bills. Gas prices are still going up. The price of meat's going up. The price of milk is going up. So, guys, fucking take care of you and yours and watch how you spend your money and don't give it to assholes on the internet. So, thank you and good night.